Sometimes, love doesn't begin with roses or candlelit dinners. Sometimes, it begins on a rainy street, when a struggling single father risks everything to save a stranger. Not knowing that stranger is a billionaire woman, lonely in her wealth, searching for something money could never buy. This is their story, a story of sacrifice, second chances, and a love that proves hearts can heal in the most unexpected ways. The night was cold. Rain fell in sheets, soaking through Michael's worn jacket as he hurried home with a small paper bag of groceries clutched tightly in his hand. He'd worked a double shift at the mechanic's shop, and every muscle in his body ached. But when he thought of his little daughter, Emma, waiting at home with her favorite blanket and a smile that could chase away his exhaustion, it was all worth it. Life wasn't easy. Being a single dad meant he carried 2 roles, 2 burdens, and twice the dreams. His wife had left years ago, unable to handle the struggles of poverty, leaving Michael to raise Emma alone. He didn't complain, he loved his daughter fiercely, but every day was a fight against bills, hunger, and exhaustion. As he crossed the street near the busy downtown square, headlights suddenly cut through the darkness. A sleek black car swerved violently, skidding across the wet pavement. Michael's instincts kicked in. There, just ahead, a woman in a designer dress, heels clicking against the pavement, stood frozen in shock as the car barreled toward her. Without a second thought, Michael dropped his groceries, sprinted forward, and shoved the woman out of harm's way. The car screeched, missing them by inches before disappearing into the rain. The woman gasped, her chest rising and falling rapidly. Her perfectly styled hair was plastered to her face, her eyes wide with disbelief. You saved me," she whispered, her voice trembling. Michael caught his breath, brushing the rain from his face. "Are you hurt?" he asked, ignoring the sharp pain in his own arm where he had hit the pavement. She shook her head, still staring at him as though she couldn't believe what had just happened. I don't even know your name," she stammered. "Michael," he said simply, pulling himself up. "Michael Hayes." The woman hesitated before replying, "I'm Isabella." "Isabella Montgomery." He didn't react. He didn't know her. But the truth was, everyone else in the city did. Isabella Montgomery was one of the wealthiest women in the state, a billionaire businesswoman, featured in magazines, admired for her empire. Yet at that moment, drenched in the rain and trembling, she didn't look untouchable. She looked human. Michael offered his hand to steady her, unaware that this single act of courage would change both their lives forever. The next morning, Michael tried to shake off the night's events. He still had to take Emma to school, pack her lunch, and make it to the shop on time. There wasn't room in his world for distractions, not when survival was his only focus. But Isabella couldn't get him out of her mind. For years, her life had been filled with luxury, yet painfully empty. Surrounded by people who wanted her wealth, her status, or her connections, she had forgotten what it felt like to be seen for just herself. And then came Michael, ordinary, struggling, kind. He hadn't asked who she was. He hadn't bowed to her money or status. He had just saved her. That morning, as Michael dropped Emma off at school, he was stunned to see a black limousine parked near the curb. Isabella stepped out, her elegance softened by a warm smile. Emma's eyes lit up in surprise, tugging at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, she looks like a princess," Emma whispered. Michael frowned. "What are you doing here?" "I came to thank you properly," Isabella said softly. "Last night you risked your life for mine. I don't forget things like that." Michael shifted uncomfortably. "You don't have to. Anyone would have done the same." "No," she said firmly, her eyes meeting his. "Not anyone." As Emma tugged on Michael's hand, Isabella knelt down, smiling at the little girl. "And who is this?" "This is Emma," Michael replied, his tone protective. Isabella's smile deepened as Emma shyly waved. For the first time in years, Isabella felt her guarded heart soften. Over the next few days, their paths crossed more than Michael ever expected. Isabella visited the mechanic's shop, surprising him with coffee during his break. She listened when he talked about Emma, about his struggles, about his dreams that felt too far away. And he, in turn, saw through her polished exterior. Beneath the billionaire title, Isabella was lonely, vulnerable, and searching for something real. For the first time in her life, Isabella wasn't admired for her money. She was admired for her laughter, her kindness, her soul. And for the first time in his, Michael wasn't invisible. But as their connection deepened, both knew the world wouldn't easily accept them, a billionaire woman and a struggling single dad. Their love would be tested by pride, judgment, and the scars of their pasts. Yet, in the quiet moments, when Isabella watched Michael tuck Emma into bed, when Michael saw Isabella's smile light up at the smallest kindness, they knew this wasn't chance. It was destiny. Challenges, judgments from society, Emma's role in bridging their hearts, and ultimately Isabella realizing that true wealth is not measured in money, but in love, sacrifice, and family.